Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, and let me introduce to you, in my not-so-humble opinion, the most entertaining player in the game, in the top left of Grezvin, the final boss. It's Dark. And his challenger, the Frenchman, the best Terran from outside Korea, has given him a run for his money before, and this will be the most money he's running towards. Yes, a best of 3 TVZ against the kid, Clem, who's opening up with 3 racks Reaper, looking to hit Dark hard and fast and knock him off balance. But Dark is not someone who sways easily. Now, if I could be so bold as to try to sway you, if you enjoy, or if you're looking forward to it, like, subscribe. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,103 likes. If we get 1,103 likes on this video, on this cast, I'll cast another series. And, I'll probably do it anyways, with games like these. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Hopefully it's about to get a little bit better, as Clem is hitting hard and fast, bouncing the queens out of the way. Already try to deal with it. Clem starting with Reapers. There was a time, a short time, where Clem, it seemed like, was the new Beyond. Now I think they both carved out their own niche. Beyond once again leading the charge with Reapers, and Clem mastering it. But bouncing back, the Queen's Transfuse keeps it together. More bounces, looking for more. And so far, the Reapers, kills one of the Queens. And the Zerglings are able to push the Reapers away. Just like I have to push Jimmy out of a job if he keeps messing these things up. Alright, we gotta see the health bars. We gotta know. Not just be stressed out about the existential threat Reapers pose. Yes, puns intended. But instead, about how much damage they can do. The grenades bouncing things out of the way. Not less for damage and more to interrupt the attack. And get some free damage on the Queens. Losing 4 Reapers so far. At first, it looked pretty good for the Frenchman, but 4 Reapers is quite a toll on this mass Reaper opener. And he killed 2 drones, 3 lings, and a queen. And Dark managed to get his 3rd hatchery in a timely manner. There's still 7 Reapers on the field, but the potential cutting edge of this attack is severely blunted, losing that number of Reapers early. Dark should have enough, especially considering he's already got some creep to the edge of the main. Overlord spotting wherever the Reapers are going. The Queen's not able to maneuver so easily, but with the creep between the main and the natural. And the Zerglings ready to meet and greet. Well, the Reapers are not going to be finding much more. And an Overlord saunters in. Gonna see essentially everything here, as he already knows Clem's headed up the tech tree. There's some... Oh my god, Clem stands his ground. Jumps off the cliff, but Dark has some lings there. The mind games and the micro. Brenda! We ride! Not like that. Reapers force the Queens back if they were getting any, dramatic ideas. It's gonna be a follow-up with Medevacs and Stim Marines. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, nor am I disappointed. And same thing for Dark. Roach Warren on the way. He's got a lair in production and no Evo chambers yet, so it looks like he wants to match the amount of units that Clem is putting on the field and potentially overwhelm them. Dark is not a player who's afraid to cut his economy if he thinks he can turn it into an attack timing. But right now, he's building only drones. He's got 54 with 4 more in production. The Roach Warren's not quite done yet, though he has some money in the bank. Clem definitely has a window to do damage here with the first 2 medevacs. The Marines and Reapers are already most of the way across the map. He's not waiting for the medevacs. He wants to make sure he's on Dark's doorstep, slamming on the door before the medevacs are even there. He knows that Dark wanted to drone up at this time. The grenades trying to bounce the Queens out of the way. A Frenchman knows a thing or two about killing Queens, or at least keeping them busy. And right now, Clem, well, bounces another Queen in. Transfuse saves the day yet again. Looking for more. The Queen count is still damn high. Dark might be supply blocked, but 7 Overlords will soon fix that. Wow, 7 Overlords. No combat shield on the way, no +1/+1 because Clem just now was finishing his engineering base. Meanwhile, Dark already finished his Evo chamber. He's got 1/1 on the way. Plenty of drones. So far, Dark with a stalwart defense. Bends in multiple areas, but snaps back instead of breaking. Clem sends the Reapers towards the main. They will slip by the queens, but a roach just popped out alongside 3 queens should be enough to drive this back. Where's the infestation pit? If I know Dark, and I like to think I do, if not his mind, his heart of the swarm. And where we're headed is maxed out Roach Ravager. You know, he might actually just want to bludgeon Clem. Just bash the roaches of 200 supply over his head instead of bothering with any sort of more finesse-oriented strategies like infestors, because Clem doesn't even have a third base right now. Clem is sitting on a relatively minimal economy. He's trying to put as much pressure on as possible. But Dark has really kind of not taken any damage. He's mostly ignored him here. Clem's played a relatively conservative game back at home, now just expanding to his third. But overall, Dark has taken quite enough liberties to be, in my opinion, ahead right now in this match. The only thing standing out is the lack of an infestation pit, the lack of the ability to go straight up to Hive Tech, the lack of a Baneling Nest. That does mean Dark wants to bring the Roach Hammer down and try to smash Clem. He gets a few of the Reapers. 1/1 is about to complete. 183 supply. Despite 3 racks Reaper, Dark is going to be maxing out at around 8.5 minutes. Give or take a few more seconds and a few siege tank shots. He's going to have 1/1. 4 bases. 65 drones. Full 3-base saturation. Clem, 4 siege tanks set up. 1/1's done for him as well. The best defenses he can put together. The bulwark of Bio is able to zone out the roaches to the north, and the Roach Ravager trickling in from the south. The boys are pulled. Clem loses track of a few of the SCVs, and that means Dark is going to be able to get something here. Knocks a Marine out, but overall, oh, Clem dives on the weaker part of the flank, able to slice through a whole bunch of the Ravagers, and not enough of them left over. Between the Sim City and the piecemeal attack here, Dark loses a massive amount of supply. A handful of roaches are not going to turn the tide. Clem was 3 times as cost effective. 3,500 to 1,600. More being chased down. Corrosive Bile nowhere close to landing. And there's almost no Ravagers back. Clem handled that beautifully and turned it all the way around into a kill on the 4th hatchery. Not only did Dark fail the attack, it was a critical failure, as he suffered so many losses. He was unable to stop Clem from tearing through his 4th. Wow. Clem, not intimidated by Dark in the least. That kind of attack is something that puts people on defensive. But Clem knew the best defense was as much offense as he could muster, and he proactively chased down the groups of the army he knew he could beat. And that sort of initiative is what is required to deal with the final boss. And Dark now adding on you can see this is for Terran. That production tab is normal, but on the other side, Dark is clearly going every other direction. He's got an infestation pit, another hatch, drones, roaches, 2-2, burrow and burrow move, as he tries literally up and down and all around the tech tree. Not even any of the medevacs taken out. The attention to detail is impeccable right now for Clem. Playing some incredible StarCraft. This is one of the few times you'll see, just because of the nature of Terran and Zerg. Clem at 470 to Dark's 480. Okay, 465 to 480 APM. Which, just because Zerg is how Zerg is, contributes to why they usually have a marginally higher one. Over 400 APM as Terran is ridiculous. Maru on a good day. Now, you can make all your arguments about how effective it is, but it's looking pretty damn effective to me right now. As Clem has played, besides losing a couple of the initial Reapers he maybe shouldn't have, this has been an immaculate game. And he continues to slice through, keeping the pressure on. Dark is pushed back, but drops on multiple fronts. A scan on the main will spot the hive. Pathogen glands researching on the infestation pit. He knows the timings for everything. Clem is maxed out and good to go. There's no reason to hesitate now. He's got 2-2 finishing. He unsieges and brings the tanks across the map. It's time. The Hydra Den just now starts as the hive finishes. Dark actually a step behind on the tech tree. Usually he'd be looking at lurkers or something a little earlier, but he's going to try to catch the army out of the map. No banelings here. The upgrades are even, and that does not bode well for the Zerg. But a fungal turns it around. He's able to bite into a chunk of the bio. Catches a few more Marines, and Dark, at the 11th hour, is able to turn it around with his trademark spellcasters. Those infestors. Probably the only player who's able to consistently find, I guess, Serral, but Serral games have a very different vibe to them. Serral games are a gladiatorial match. This is a street fight. All right, and Dark is not the least bit afraid to fight dirty. What are we watching here? I think Clem killing some of his own buildings or units in order to free up supply for ghosts. I think he may have just killed some of his siege tanks to free up supply for ghosts. I'm not sure. Wait, can we see it in the battle report? No. Wait, yes. It would have showed up there, I think. Not 100%. Either way. Might have just been Deepa. Dark is still maxed out. He's got the lurker den on the way, but Clem is already working into the late game Terran. He's got more command centers, more siege tanks, more ghosts, more upgrades. And he's got near maxed out supply. The infestor lurks below. The lurkers no longer lurk it, well, have yet to lurk at all. He's still working on that. The lurker den, noticeably late. The siege tanks make it hard even for a brood infestor to find any purchase. No neural parasite here. Dark, oh, that infestor. Beautiful fungal. Is he done? No, he doesn't have enough to follow it up. The snipes. Fungal, you need something. He's got to be very careful. The scan. Why would you be scanning backwards? Oh, God. Some more fungals coming in. Beautiful. Beautiful fungals. Oh, but the medevacs are still going to heal through for now. Clem maintaining 200 supply. Got the patience here. The EMPs on the Vipers. But blinding clouds are good enough. And the fungal for the back line. Wombo combo. But it's not enough. The siege tank fire is punishing. Just ripping through the front line of Zerg. And the bio army isn't going to be remotely enough. He chases down the infestors. The Marines, the Marauders, and the Ghosts hold the line. And the siege tanks pound the Zerg back. Another fungal. Another set of look at how he fires his corrosive bios. He fires them expecting Clem to reflexively retreat. Clem does not. Clem holds. And he dodges them by simply standing in front. But still, Dark is able to replenish his army and forces Clem into a controlled withdrawal. I'm not going to say a rout, because it certainly isn't. As he's still standing his ground in the midst of the roaches, understanding the damage that his units can put out. Clem, his confidence, I think, is throwing Dark a little off. Like, you can just see from the spellcasting, some of these fights, these are the kind of fights that Dark turns the game with. Fungals across the board, catching groups of bio that really should have been winning the fight. But Clem just stands there and keeps shooting. And he understands that on paper his army is better. And right now, it's close enough to a tabletop that he doesn't want to flip it. Dark still, though, has kept Clem off. Down goes the Overlord. Medevacs don't need to come all the way back. Concussive shells just finished. Clem was actually missing out on that upgrade. A classic. He's just like us. A great game thus far. Dark has actually lost 100 roaches. 140 Zerglings. He's getting a Baneling nest, getting a high. When he starts going for Serral compositions, that's when you know Clem has forced the issue. Hydraling Bane. No more Roach Ravager with some lurkers thrown in. Hydraling Bane. Still with some lurkers, likely, but the ghost count is already reaching towards double digits. Nidus network in production. More command centers on the way as Clem looks to solidify his position. At some point, 77 SCVs is just an unnecessary number. And that point is around like 10 orbitals when you can just drop half a dozen mules at all times while still having scans. Oh my god. Marines being shredded. Clem trying to keep control of the situation. If you let the Zerg get out of hand too fast, well, that's how most of the campaigns go. And it doesn't end well for the Terrans, at least for a while. Spoilers. A volley of scans across the board. Clem scans 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I really think T5, because I mean, why not? If you've got map hacks built into your buildings, why not use them? TY, I'll credit with this, even though it's not an uncommon strategy, but TY really using and abusing that mass scan ability. Because why not? Orbitals are relatively cheap and the return on investment is constant. Being able to keep tabs on the army and the tech. He's looking for a Broodlord switch, just where the army is in general. Burrowed infestors. Things like a Nidus may be attempted. I believe he scanned the Nidus. Indeed he did with that scan volley. The lurkers are trying to get in. Changeling. Clem's watching. Clem knows. Clem's ready. Snipe knocks out the observer. Siege tank in the main. A minimalist yet effective defense, but both players now maxed out. Now we get in to the final rounds. I don't know how many we'll have, but the armies are about as good, or can be as good as they're ever gonna get, as they're both maxed out with about as many bases as they can realistically have. Fusion core is on the way, though I hesitate to oh my god, look at that siege line. Advanced ballistics, clearly a strong choice here. I'd love to see, I'm a big fan of rapid reignition thrusters. Medevac speed and boost cooldown. Alright. Criminally underutilized, in my opinion. Snipes knock out 1 out of 2 lurkers. And more lurkers just show up to the third, completely undefended. There's a bunker in the area, but not nearly enough to deal with these lurkers. We're gonna start splitting the map, I think, horizontally here. Or vertically, rather, as opposed to horizontally. Wait. Okay, on the right side will be Clem. On the left side will be Dark. There. Okay. Oh, the EMP's on point. Knock out all the energy on the Vipers. The Ghost Ball will go unchallenged. He has enough scans to just continue throughout this. As long as he doesn't get caught by a fungal, then the Ghosts are almost untouchable. It is now on Dark to craft a response. He does have the money in the bank. He has mined, I believe, more? How much more? A couple thousand. Not minerals, though. He's actually just been efficient enough. The army values in favor heavily of Clem. Fungal actually catches, this is a big chunk of bio here, including the ghosts. He dropped some changelings. A handful of ghosts escape. He dropped the Nidus right on top of the siege tank. That's one way of avoiding the siege tank fire, but isn't going to be enough. Dark keeps working any angle he can get. He's able to grab. Part of this is just dragging the attention of Clem away. Anything you can do to make sure he's not concentrating on those ghosts. Because ghost busting is already hard enough without him microing constantly. Dark's trying to re-expand. Clem's still sending out the scan volleys. He's got 6 orbitals. I'm surprised that number is still the same as it was before. 2 spires on the way. Advanced ballistics on the fusion core. Dark inspired to take to the skies. I think he realized... I don't know if he saw anything. He actually... Well, it's implied the base is back here. Between the half a dozen sensor towers. The implication is there. And now, I guess we're going to settle in. 2 nukes in production for Clem, which is one way. Quite the tactical nuke's great for forcing the Zerg to reposition. Every once in a while, you actually land one and hit anything besides creep tumors, but just zoning out. It's a very dangerous force field, at the very least. The banks continue to grow. Though, the armies are so incredibly dangerous to one another, they can no longer really fight without committing. That's where we are. It's very hard, because even getting close means potential disaster, as Clem demonstrates with the Vipers. He's got, sniping off Vipers, Lurkers, Infestors, Queens. Well, technically every unit is potentially a target for Zerg. A Nidus on the front. Clem casually nuking his own base. I don't know if that was it. Was that a joke? I have no idea. Anyways, forward planetaries. Dark will take out one. I'm surprised. Do we have Neural Parasite? Where's the Neural Parasite, Dark? He's making 7 more infected. I know my duck. All right, another volley of scans. I'm surprised he hasn't gone that direction yet. 11 infestors. It's criminal not to Neural Parasite at this stage. Another nuke. He knows. Knocks out the ghost. Nuke flies off into the sunset. 11 infestors. All right, Dark. It's not concussive shells. Neural Parasite's kind of a big deal. I've seen Dark play with ghosts. All right. Sniping. Dark is the only player I've seen multiple times per game snipe ghosts with ghosts. No other Zerg quite has the knack for it. Even Cyril usually only finds 1 or 2, but Dark manages it. But he hasn't upgraded Neural Parasite, so that will make it difficult to pull that off. Right now, Dark has significantly more in the bank. And this is coming down to endgame. The corner bases, which in this case are like the 11 o'clock and the 6 o'clock base. I think Dark's hold is a little more tenuous. And the units lost 6,000 more minerals and 2,000 more gas lost by Dark. And I don't think that disparity is going to get any closer as time goes on, as this is simply arguably the most cost-effective unit composition and setup in the game that Clem has right now. He's got 9 orbitals, 5 planetaries. He's got zoning planetaries, not just on his bases. There's the Neural Parasite. Belated, but still welcome. Yeah, he's literally setting up for zoning planetaries. Tanks across the board. +3 mech weapons has been done for a while. The Lurkers being sniped out, trying to deal with the Liberators. There are so many of them. Spore Crawlers are the answer. Zerglings chasing down the ghosts and will murder them in the streets. As Clem just doesn't have enough to defend his own base. The Liberators will pull back away from the spores. Corrosive Bile knocks down another one. The ghosts are moving to intercept, but Dark holds onto his base for now. Spores actually doing quite a good job of dealing with this. But advanced ballistics Liberators have enough range. The Venn diagram of freedom will overlap over the ghosts. And this is an army composition that, well, Broodlords. Dark was not directly credited with getting Broodlords nerfed, but his mass Broodlord style was really catching on before Broodlings were nerfed to have significantly shorter duration. Broodlords are a little faster since the beginning of the year patch, but we'll see if that's the answer. Clem launches off a nuke, but backs off with the ghost when he realizes it's not going to happen. Too late, though, overall. He gets pushed off of the base to the south, and you know what? Well, it looks like he's going to lose even more. More Broodlords on the way. The exchanges continue. I don't think they're losing units at a rate. Well, in the last 2 minutes, Clem has destroyed 6k minerals, 2200 gas. Dark 3817. So Clem is edging more and more cost-effective as time goes on, but the Broodlord count grows. Thors and Ghosts to meet it. Dark down to 57 drones, Clem at 62 SCVs as we've reached the end game. Right now, money is not an object. It is who can build the best army to actually fight. The chains of fungals. He's sending the infestors in one at a time. Trying to dodge the EMPs, doing a pretty great job of it, pinning down, preventing the snipes, and the Broodlords will wipe the field. And Dark pushes Clem back yet again. Just when it looked like he had the ghost count, he had the army. It wasn't enough. 30 ghosts have died. 31. Mass changeling sent out as well, why not? 14 more infestors on the way. The Broodlords will clean up some of the tanks on the field. How many broods? 16. 14 infestors. What year is it? Broodlord. This is a very different Broodlord infestor. So back in the day, Broodlords had 3 more range and infestors had infested Terrans. Yes, the best unit that Zerg had was Terrans. But that unit no longer exists. That ability to take out the air, and Broodlords have as much range as a Thor instead of being able to easily outrange them. Also, Thors did not have that single target mode we all know and love now. The high impact mode, quite literally. So, you do have to get a lot more up close and personal with the Broodlords to whip out your Broodlings. You do have to manage those infestors meticulously in order to keep them in range to actually get anything done instead of spamming out dozens of beach balls in the form of infested Terrans. So, overall, the Broodlord infestor not nearly as oppressive as it once was, but it is still, to this day, as evidenced here by Dark, the end-game army composition. He counteracts the EMP from the ghosts by simply having so many spellcasters that they can't all be EMP'd effectively. The sheer biomass, the width, the radius of units that he has, the EMP is not wide enough. So, as long as he can get close enough to launch at least one fungal, he might be able to chain them together. Or a neural parasite on a ghost. That's so many liberators. Well, looks like so many with the overlapping Olympic rings of freedom here. Covering the bases and more. Nuke forward. As the siege will continue until morale improves. That nuke may very well land here. Ooh, interrupts. Angry EMP. The ghost might die to its fellow ghost nuke. It does, alongside the creep tumors. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. The fight arises. And the nuke will open up the way as Clem continues to carve through. He has 11,000 minerals in the bank right now. Dark has 6k, but only 1,300 gas. Does he have... We have to do this now. We have to do some accounting. 100, 200 gas. Uh-oh. Oh, no. That's it. He's dry. There's only 200 gas left for Dark. The Queen's fighting. This nuke has real potential. But Dark is out of gas. Every unit that caused gas between the 16 Broodlords, another nuke. The nuclear siege here from Clem. This is some textbook stuff. This is not the kind of roller coaster sort of a bit wishy-washy. I guess that's not really how I want to describe it, but this is not the Clem who kind of waxes and wanes depending on the strategy, depending on the day. This is looking like an unbreakable Terran. The way he's just carving through the map, he's fallen back. He's been pushed away. But at no point has it looked like Clem was in real danger of losing this game. Whereas Dark, at multiple points, has been brought to the brink. And now, he's on the edge of a cliff yet again. There are 12 orbitals, which is enough to launch multiple scans at a time. Without ever having any downtime, is the implication there. Clem has 5,000 gas in the bank. Neither player knows exactly how many resources the other has, but you start to get a sense of it. Dark is able to reestablish the north. He gets a gas geyser. I don't know how much is left up there. Most of it. Very important. Can he get another? Between the Liberators and the Ghosts, it's making an almost unstoppable push here. The nukes being added in when things look a little too tough. The static defenses forced away. Oh, another round of fungals. Trying to snipe out, but the chain fungals are there. He gets a few more. Dark on a shoestring budget. Well, which is a pretty dramatic one because Zerg, I don't think, wear shoes, but... Holding, but only barely. He's able to get that northern base. Clem has reestablished the south. There's a bunch of banelings which cannot be replaced. He's got one more big attack here. One last attempt to roll in and crush the ghosts. And with them, the rest of the army. Because the ghosts are the only thing keeping the neural parasites at bay. The brood lords from picking apart. There's almost no amount of Thors that stops double-digit brood lords. As long as there's any amount of infestors with them. That's a very key point there. Oh yeah, we were watching some mules. As Clem, you see when Dark started mining out, it's only getting worse. Dark must hold. He doesn't really have a choice here. He's going to have to fight. A nuke. God. This is some of the most tactical nukes. Oh, he gets the snipes off before the fungal, but the nuke is gonna land. Oh, wait. At the last I think the siege tanks killed the ghost. 16 LCVs. Dark waits until Clem is almost entirely committed. And he sends the Zerglings in. He finds possibly the last opportunity to get counter damage done. Clem gonna nuke forward. Dark just slides his spore crawlers to the side. I think he's just gonna let the nuke go. Backing up, it might lose a spine. Loses an extractor, which is kind of important at this stage. But Clem is losing his bases. The Zerglings can't fly high enough to take out the Liberators. But Clem is actually out of gas as well. What is over here? He had 2 out of 3 of gas, so he's not mined out. But he's got 4K in the bank. Dark, once again, is back up against the wall, but arguably when he's most dangerous. Neural Parasite on the ghost! He interrupts the nuke and gets an EMP! He did everything! That's extra interrupting the nuke was enough, but turning it around and EMPing the ghost. Dark is not done. Burrow use. He refuses to give up this ground. But at the same time, he knows he must be flexible. He knows he cannot afford to lose anything. But something must give. Those banelings are still waiting. One particularly incredible fungal. Oh, the ghost. The EMP took its toll. There's still plenty of energy out there. Dark trickling in the infestors. Spore crawlers preventing any sort of cloak from nearby. But he can't do much about further out. The Broodlord's still a safe distance away. Dark long distance. Dark is down to 18 drones. The army supplies are ridiculous. 170 versus 177. Dark's actually making drones right now. Some of the orbitals are being ripped to shreds by the Zerglings. He loses one. Neither player can really... You can't really afford to look away from this fight. We're going to the Dark cam right now. As... Oh, trying to keep it all right on the edge, but you can't even clip the edge of the range as those Liberators. Whoa. This is just... That's his life now. Is edging the Liberator zones. God, that's such a scary Terran army. My God. The Changelings doing potential damage. Repair is starting to become a costly investment. Clem may have 1,400 minutes. Well, at the end of the day, if worst comes to worst, he can build Hellions and Marines. Zerglings, not particularly competitive. That's the problem here. Even if Dark somehow manages to clear this army and force Clem to go back to the beginning of the tech tree, I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Clem is held well enough. The mules are mining. He doesn't need SCV. Well, this base is burning. You do need a command center to mine from. He's gonna... Is this... It's gonna happen. Oh my god, he's just letting the nuke go. Oh, get those drones out of there. That was close. The Zerglings will counterattack into the main, but like... What's the point? What is there left to kill? The Broodlords. There's nothing left to hold here. Oh, Clem backed off surprisingly far. Some free siege tanks. I don't think Clem need to give those up. The Baneling count. How many tanks are left? Only 4. EMP on the edge of the range here. The Thor's still very scary. He's trying to fling out the Broodlings at the very, very edge of their range, which can minimize your exposure to the ghosts and the Thors. Oh, God. Oh, some snipes, but a good chain of fungals. The Queen's getting caught in the crossfire. Another set of snipes. Loses a couple more irreplaceable Broodlords. The ghosts. The Queen's caught on the edge. They get away barely. Dark. He's out of money. From our perspective, we realize that Clem has this much to lose here. Like, he's got 15,000. He doesn't know. Dark could easily have 5k in the bank. It's impossible to keep track, especially considering all those Banelings. To Clem, that looks like Dark still has plenty of money. It's very hard to tell. He's pretty sure Dark's broke, but there's no reason to risk it. He's been whittling him down in an arduous and incredibly, disgustingly, uncomfortably patient process. 15 Liberators, 26 Ghosts. Marines and Marauders, a thing of the distant past, as Clem has optimized his composition. He has not given Dark just the constant scans to keep tabs on the infestors. He has not given Dark that opening. Not even something to slip through, to slither back into this game. The infestors. Dark somehow maintains near 200 supply, despite seemingly having no money. His army is still massive. 15 drones, I believe, have died to a Liberator in the corner, bringing him down to the number he started with. It's time. We're going. This is it. This is everything. This is all he has left. And the Lings and Banes, he grabs some of the Thors, some of the Liberators. Any is good, but is it enough? The Ghosts were able to retreat. And at the end of the day, the last gasp of Dark is choked off. And Clem, in possibly the most patient game I've ever seen from him, is able to hold the line. And game 1 goes to Clem. Oh, exhausting. Wow. Who put... Like, that's an Oliveira style of patience right there. I don't even attribute that to Maru. The only player I've seen with that level of patience is Oliveira. Clem playing like a potential champion right now. Well, we're going into neo-humanity. I just gotta keep repeating it. I don't know how to commentate except to reiterate. That is... They grow up so fast. Where is the beyond inspired, like, heartfelt timing attack, micro-oriented Terran player, replaced by the cold, calculating, merciless siege Terran? He did not make any mistakes that game. It wasn't like Dark was throwing it away. Arguably, the big Roach Ravager attack was a mistake, but that is something that can easily break a Terran, even if they know it's coming. And he's broken many, many Terrans, including Clem, with that hammer. But Clem, the only mistake I can really point to in that game is the first 4 Reapers. The 4 Reapers he lost, which was, you know, I guess a warm-up. Wow. That was just impeccably played. And I can't even, like, as you know, and here's your real talk. Like, there's a wall over there. It's the 4th one. I'm gonna break it. This is your warning. I don't love the role that Ghosts play for Terran. You might be like, what role is that? To which I answer, all of them. I don't love that a single unit combined with the orbital command and its scans and all that are essentially, if you play perfectly, a win condition, especially against Zerg, it feels like. But you have to acknowledge how incredibly hard it is to play at that, like, precision level for half an hour, nearly. Okay. I think most people, including myself watching, will be challenged to do anything so precisely for a tiny fraction of that amount of time. When I control my ghosts, I'll line up 2 snipes, and then the rest of them are right-clicked into the mineral line where they die to banelings. And then I'm like, well... I don't... So I just want to head off, because I know there's going to be the comments about ghosts, about liberators. And that's worthy of debate. But that was the best control I have ever seen. And Dark, it wasn't like Dark didn't test the issue either. Maybe a few less. The thing is, he couldn't go for the neurals. Because Clem was scanning the entire, like, he was scanning every potential angle. Literally covering his bases. Creating a detection aura around him. That's where the 450 APM was going. It's those kind of games that make me look at this game and be like, oh no. I'm glad I'm pretty okay at talking about it, at least. Like, what I want, by the way, since that was the only loss this girl, and if you noticed a particular micro or a moment that Clem or Dark in that last game, I want to encourage this, and I actually use these for the YouTube shorts and such. Like a little micro moment. I'd love if you noticed something, especially if I didn't call it out. Like, I don't know, Liberator or Infestor or a Ghost micro. Just give a timestamp to it and point it out. It would be awesome. So I can highlight it in the future. I'm sure there were plenty. Well, and there's going to be another opportunity here. In game 2, a much more passive start. No Reapers. This is the first real pressure here. The double medevac and plenty of stim marines. Dark once again has the roaches with 1-1. Is there even engineering base? Yes. Has he started 1-1? No. Just now starting the +1 weapon. So this time around, Dark is... Where's your roach? There it is. Ooh. Going for the front. Wow, the confidence! I don't even think that's the right... Is that the right spot? I don't know, it looks weird. I think it was... The most important part for Dark was to put it directly in front of the medevac's face. As a matter of principle, of course. I love your gumption, son. But you're in way over here. Well, actually, Dark knows what he's about, okay? He's a professional. Oh. Billy! Billy! How many times? Just because we right-click 9 more... I hate it when that happens. He's gonna take the long way around. Oh my god, he's still on a mission. If legend has it, if Billy gets here, there's no way we can lose. Marines stimming in. Billy, still working on it. And the Marines are just cutting through the roaches, but a lot more have joined. Billy! Oh, God. Not again. All right. All right. Where are we going now? Oh. Ah. Guys, how many times? Hey, no! You guys. I've been scoping it out. All right, boots on the ground. I now lead the charge. The story of a Marine. Finally promoted in order to avoid embarrassment for leaving him behind. Billy will stim forward. Fighting into the roaches on the front line. Still fighting into the medevacs. And now, the faceless Marine. It'll be impossible to tell which one. But his life goal of getting into the medevac has been accomplished. Clem walled off his siege tanks. Classic. All right. 100% that siege tank was walled off. Uh-oh. And you know what? That might actually be a real issue here, as not having all the siege tanks in the fight. This is not the same as last game, where Clem has the ability to strong-arm the... Well, I say that, and then he just whips out all this bio. The siege tanks are a little out of position, but now Clem has 1-1. He's chasing down the Ravagers. The prey becomes the predator here. Guns down another set of Roach Ravager. Dark rolls with the punches. He's still at 200 supply. Wait, where did the siege tanks? Clem abandoned his tanks. And Dark did have enough to follow it up this time around. And, well, without the tanks on the back line, it's a numbers game. And right now,
the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
This is what Dark was looking to do on Gresben. And this, he's killed 14 SCVs. He's got +2 on the way. Clem is not stabilizing. He's just staunching the bleeding here. There's a siege tank on the high ground. But Dark continues to stream across the map. He's done heavy damage to the economy. He's taken out a significant portion of tanks. And Clem's bio army is at a critical point. If he loses really anything more, it's unlikely he'll ever recover. The orbital itself, behind this infestation pit, the key point of the previous match was that the hive tech was just so far behind. Dark was trying to end the game outright with that Roach Ravager attack. This time around, the follow-up is already on the way, even as the attack continues. As Dark has that fourth base economy, the boys have to be pulled. Yet again, the corrosive biles are overwhelming. Clem spending almost as much time dodging as DPSing. And this time around, Dark looks like he's gonna smash in the door and batter his way to tying things up. 2-2. Nope. 2-2 upgrades are finished. 1-1. It was in the... What a series. All right. We're going to Royal Blood. Game 3. That shows the difference. Like, even if the Reapers don't do much, it's also partially the map. Like, Gresven, the rush distance is another 10-15 seconds. Another 10-15 seconds is another siege tank, another 5-10 supply of bio. And the game's so close in these matches, at these timings, that certainly could make the difference. I don't think it quite did. It was just partially Dark got a better jump on it than he did in game 1. But that shows you that even if Clem is able to take a good fight, that doesn't necessarily mean winning the war. And that's another game that I think both games so far have been great examples of not so much one player making a mistake, but true. This is, I not so jokingly comment that you don't get to play a strategy game in StarCraft until you can at least pretend to compete with Dark. Okay, I do say like higher Grandmaster, but, and that's what I mean. It's not a mechanical, well, Honestly, that game partially decided by a siege tank being walled off slightly in the main. One more siege tank, not a decider, but it adds up. Just the sheer level of mechanics these two have. I think StarCraft 2 is a real-time strategy game, and 2/3 of real-time strategy is real-time. For better or worse. And speed and precision are king. Followed by strategy. And Dark sometimes demonstrates that to great and very blunt effect. Like, I feel like in most of his games, Dark could come and be like, I'm gonna max out on roaches. I'm gonna go for a 1/1, 200 supply Roach Ravager timing. And the outcome would not differ. Maybe with Clem, if he could confirm that's exactly what's happening at the start of the game, he'd tailor his build differently. But even at this level, First Reaper, gonna dance with the Zerglings. He only did the Threeper. Well, he went 3 Rags Reaper. Threeper and 3 Rags Reaper are different. Subtle but different. Threeper is 3 Reapers. The 2 Rags opener that Beyond has popularized. That's the macro version. 3 Rags Reaper is a play on that is meant to kind of take advantage of the fact people are used to dealing with the Threeper build and adding more Reapers to try to overwhelm them when they're trying to be somewhat economical with their defenses. Like if they don't build enough Zerglings and you have 3 Rags Reaper, you might just kill all the lings and start working on the drones or queens, which Clem almost did in game 1. But neither of that's happening here. We're back to the 1 Rag 6 fan and the 1/1/1 behind the barracks factory, starport, 1 of each, against Dark with a stereotypical 3 hatch into later Zergling speed build. Of course, focus more on the minerals to get that 3 hatch, as one usually is. Clem just sliding by with the Hellions. Slow lings to match him. It looks like he's gonna get a couple. He gets 2 drone kills. And a scout. Very importantly, this is also a scout. Sure. Obvious. Okay. Alright. Simmer down. He got in, he confirmed the drone count. He saw the lack of ling speed. You can kind of infer this isn't a roach time, because roaches would have been coming out by then. Or there would be less drones, at least, if it was some sort of rush to tech. Cloak on the way for Banshees. Yeah, he's already got 1. I believe Dark spotted the Banshee moving out. There is an Overlord along what I believe was the path. And there's no chance. No, he's got Stim on the way. It's not going to be Mac. A later 3rd base for Clem here. Not late, just a little later than usual, in order to make sure he gets all this 1/1/1 tech out. Banshee Cloak complete. 2 more barracks on the way. Dark adding on 10 more drones. That's going to put him above the 50 mark as he gets a lair. No evolution chambers, no baneling. There's the baneling. Clem being very conservative with this Hellion Banshee. Like, past that first 2 Hellions and a Reaper, he's just poked around the edges. Not even testing to see how many Zerglings. Makes me think he's really focused on a timing attack here. Like, alongside 1/1, very likely. Now, will it hit before Baneling speed? Dark actually was a bit late on the Bane Nest if he wanted to go Bane speed alongside it. I mean, I guess he'll get detection quicker. He might be able to kill a Queen. No, a save, barely. Is there going to be an armory on the way for Hellbats as well? That 3rd base is so late for Clem. I think he's hiding his siege tanks. I don't think that's well off. I think he's going to bring him out with the medevacs. Interesting. But also concerning. Alright. Dark going to be quite late on the upgrades in the grand scheme of things. He's already got an infestation pit on the way. Rushing... Is he rushing ultras? No. No, that's not... Either way, it's not going to matter because he has to deal with Clem's push coming out right now. In fact, Dark going up to 70-something drones. There are 20 Marine... There's only 27 Zerglings on the field. That is at max. Unlimited money, 27 Banelings. Which is not really very many to deal with this push. There is no armory. He still has the Hellions with it. 9 Banes on the way. Somehow Clem has mostly shown up unannounced. A handful of Banes were to deal with maybe a medevac push. But this has siege tanks and Hellions behind it, as well as... I'm not sure where those Banshees are, but they are still... Yeah, he still has 2 Banshees on the field. So even though 1-1 isn't done, Bane speed will finish seconds before. But +1/+1 is a long way off for Dark. I believe he knows about the tanks here. Gonna try to run around. The Banes easily targeted. Oh, no, that did not go well. Royal blood is about to be spilled as the queens are gunned down. Wow! What? Clem! Dark completely blindsided. I don't know how he masked it so well, but Dark clearly playing for the later game. Clem comes in with this offhanded 2-base timing. Yes, he did have 3 bases, but he got his production up and he focused on keeping all his units alive in order to maximize this push. And Dark just completely not ready. He beats the final boss with a decisive game 3. Incredibly well played from Clem. This is possibly the best series I've ever seen him play. And one of the best series I've seen for Terran versus Zerg. Just immaculate from Clem. Absolutely. He was the better player here today. So, the kid has grown up. And the final boss has been defeated. Quite a dramatic series. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. 1,103 likes. Cast another series. Taking recommendations from Gamers8, which this tournament was from. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.